Good morning. What's going on? Happy Wednesday. Happy Trash Day. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1089. It is a trash day. I've got an interesting story to share regarding Trash Day, as a matter of fact. We're also going to talk about the Hall of Fame and my coffee maker. I don't know. Something happened with my coffee maker. It only brewed like a half a pot, less than half a pot this morning. I went upstairs and I'm like, what is going on? There's only less than half a pot of coffee in here. And it's not like hot. It's not lukewarm. It's between lukewarm. What's the in between lukewarm and hot? Not as hot. I don't know. It's not lukewarm. It's not hot. Somewhere in between. So we got more snow. It is recycling day. Yes, Shane. Which is important. And I haven't got my bins to the curb yet. And I'm going to tell you why here in a moment. So we got more snow yesterday. We had ice. It's been, we've got that fog. I think we've got freezing fog again. My tree's very picturesque. The trees are very pretty. It's very foggy. I can't even see. Well, the pond is covered in ice and snow, but I can barely see the pond. It's that foggy. So we are experiencing that like below freezing, above freezing type weather. It is warming up to like above freezing during the day, but in the mornings it's very cold still. I think we're actually hovering right at freezing right now. So yesterday after the show, I went out, took Biscuit to go potty, and I knew that it was going to be like what was happening was the snow that's on the ground. It's like a hard snow because it was so cold the last 10 days, and it melted because it's been above freezing during the day, which is creating frozen water, which we call ice. So I took a couple steps. I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. And then I took one more step and almost wiped out. I was able to not fall on my ass. So then I go out to the drive. I'm like, holy shit. So I took a video of like me sliding around, sent it to my wife. I'm like, this is what you're missing. We've got an ice rink in our driveway. So, and then, so as I was out on the icy driveway, it was freezing rain. And then it turned to snow, like a real puffy, large snowflake snow. And so we ended up getting a couple inches more on top of the 2 feet that we already have on the ground. It was enough. It's because it's been hovering around freezing. It was a wet, heavy snow. And there was enough that I fired up the snowblower. And I didn't know if I was going to need to fire up the snowblower, like, maybe I can just shovel it. But I had to take Biscuit to get pretty at her grooming appointment. So she's now pretty again. As I was driving, like a lot of the neighbors were out because by like lunchtime, it had stopped snowing. Only snowed for a couple hours, but we got a good accumulation in that time. And so I saw neighbors out with their snowblowers, and I'm like, oh, it's a snowblower day. So then in the afternoon, I fire my snowblower up and get it all cleaned up. Sidewalks, driveway, everything's all hunky-dory, right? Wrong. All right. So last night, I've got all kinds of shit downstairs, beer bottles, trash from shipping. I've got to take up. It's trash and recycling. Boom. So I carry a bunch of shit upstairs, put them in the bins, and open the garage door. And I hear like what sounds like a snowplow, like a big snow in the street snowplow. And so I look out, and sure enough, here comes a snowplow. It's like, oh shit, he's like doing like my side of the street. I can't put my bins out just yet. as I'm like watching the snow plow dump 3 feet of snow at the end of my driveway. And I'm like, I've never seen it live. It's usually a surprise when you wake up in the morning and go out to leave or put your trash bins out on the curb. And surprise, surprise, we've got 3 feet of snow at the end of your driveway. Get the shovel, boy. It's time to shovel some snow. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding. And I think I probably had, I stared down the snowplow, and I understand, like, he's just doing his job. I understand the science behind why the snow is dumped at the edge of your driveway, but it doesn't make it any less annoying. Don't stare down the snowplow driver like I did, but it's just like it's a look of defeat. So the snowplow, I don't know if our neighborhood hires through the HOA, if they hire these snowplow drivers or if it's just part of the city. I don't know that yet. Still new to the neighborhood. So I go back into the house defeated that not only can I not put my trash and recycling bins at the curb, I am now going to have to wake up in the morning and shovel my end of the edge of my driveway. Son of a bitch. Which is my least, because they're like gigantic snowballs. You can't take the snow blower, at least not my little puny one. And it's a pain in the ass. So I go inside, watch TV. To add insult to injury, I suffer through watching coverage of the New Hampshire primary last night. We won't talk politics here. I don't know why. I needed something different than sports and true crime because that's all I consume. Sports, true crime, and professional wrestling. That's like all I watch. So it's like, well, let's watch some politics. I've got to shovel 3 feet of snow at the edge of my driveway in the morning while I take the trash and recycling out. Well, let's watch politics. However, this story turns out there's a happy ending. So it gets to be 9:30. Biscuit has to go potty and wants to go to bed. And so I take Biscuit out and I look at the edge of my driveway. It's clear. The snowplow driver must have seen me with my look of both disgust and a look of defeat on my face as I watch him frickin' plow in my driveway. It was completely clear. I'm like, wow, I got to give this guy a tip. So thank you, Mr. Snowplow driver on my street. Because he didn't do it to every driveway. Because I looked across the street, my neighbor's driveway directly across the street, 3 feet of snow, a wall of freaking snow at the end of their driveway. Now, the house on the other, like next door to them, they had theirs cleared. And mine was cleared. And those are the only driveways I can see. But at least I don't have to do that this morning. So the night I went to bed happy. Although I'm having nightmares because I way overbooked the Madison Card Show. So I didn't go to Fleet Farm yesterday because ice. So I didn't want to drive to DeForest, which isn't that far when it's sunny and clear. But when it's ice and snow, I'm not going to drive there. I'll go there today to get a whole bunch of tables because I'm way overbooked. I'm like, as I'm going, probably why I didn't get good sleep last night, because as I'm falling asleep, I'm like, okay, I can probably squeeze a table. So just be aware, if you're coming to the Madison Card Show this month, and I apologize, this is completely 100% my fault for overbooking. And no, it's not a money grab to get as many tables in. People will say that, oh, he's just trying to get as many tables, make all this money. No, I mean, I do want to make money, yes, but I don't. If you've watched this program, you know how how much I loathe physical manual labor. And this now requires not only me spending money on my own tables, but also setting them up myself, which is manual labor, which I don't like. So it's going to be probably crowded and cramped at the show this weekend. I apologize in advance. It is what it is. I would rather have a crowded, cramped show than me on Wednesday telling dealers, hey, I'm sorry, I have to cancel on you. So I'm not going to do that. There may be a couple that I have to like say, ooh, I don't think I can get you that third table this month. So I've got to go back through. The good thing, I was going through my list last night. I had doubled up a couple and I'm like, oh, thank God. I think I'm going to be able to make this work. And then I get down and I'm like, oh, I forgot one. Cause like my regulars, I do a poor job of getting the list in advance. And that's why I run into these problems. Cause I'm an idiot. And I'm counting and I'm like, fuck, I'm still at like 140. And that's not ideal. So I'll be buying more tables today, and it's like kind of hope I get some cancellation. Like normally I don't, but I don't want like Friday night cancellations or Saturday morning, like because I've already done the work. So now the tables are there. I want like Wednesday cancellations today. All right. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What's going on in the chat? We've got Shane in the house. Good morning. I believe is it a trash day for you? I think you're on the same schedule. Somebody's on the same schedule as I am. Johnny Boy Cards, what's going on? Good morning. David's in the house. What's happening? Shane is here. It is recycling today. Big day. Big day. This is the one I don't want to miss. JW, good morning. And my trash bins are not at the curb, which they are. And the moment I say this, oh, they're usually a little later in the morning, I'm going to hear the freaking trash truck coming through. Good morning, Victor. Hopefully that's not the case. Good morning, Victor. Mr. Archer, what's happening? Congratulations to the new Hall of Famers, especially Knoxville's own Todd Helton. Wasn't he a Tennessee Volunteer quarterback also on the football team? We've got 3 new Hall of Famers joining Jim Leland in the class of 2024. Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, Adrian Beltre. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame, this year's vote, and next year's ballot, because there's at least one big name on next year's ballot. Neil's here. What's going on? He's searching for Beltre, Mauer, and Helton cards to list. You know, here I was doing the same thing because I sold like a Joe Mauer. As soon as the announcement came across, I sold like a Joe Mauer and an Adrian Beltre car out of my eBay store. And I'm like, the thing is, those are players I don't like pull. Like I went through and I was pulling out of my bargain boxes, like players that I can lot up. And so I've got tabs, you know, it's guys like Canseco and Bonds and Griffey and Bo Jackson. Joe Mauer, I think, had a tab. I might have listed all his already. I can't remember. But I went through and I didn't have a Beltre tab. I knew I didn't have Beltre or Helton but Mauer, sometimes I pull Mauer cards. Not all the time, but sometimes. But I've got a bunch of bargain boxes, so maybe if I find some time, I'll pull those. And I'm also going to get prepared for next year's ballot. And we'll talk about who's on next year's 2025 ballot. Speaking of going back and picking out, I've had a few people inquire about buying inventory from me because I've got all these quarter boxes, and basically I say no because it's not sorted. You know, I want to make it, you know, I don't know what people want. You know, can I buy inventory? Well, what do you want? Do you want quarter cards? So what I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks, I just came upon this idea yesterday because I'm not setting up this weekend at the Madison Card Show. I will be set up in Janesville next month in February. I'm going to do dime boxes. So I'm going to go back through and put together dime boxes for February. But also in the meantime, I didn't purge my quarter box inventory this year. Usually December is when I purge and I just start the new year off with new inventory. Right now, I'm just kind of rotating through the same old stuff. But I do multiple shows. So multiple, some people didn't like, oh, I never saw these, but they may have been at 2 or 3 shows. But I just want to start fresh with new inventory and just start building new boxes. So I'll downgrade stuff to dime boxes at the next show in Janesville in February. But also for those that have inquired about buying bulk from me, like quarter box stuff, I'm going to put together some flat rate boxes. What we're going to do, I'm not going to sell just by email or anything, because I want to give everybody a chance, but I also want to show you what you're getting. I don't want to just do a blind box. It's quarter box stuff and you're expecting something better. So I don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I need to get some flat rate boxes. And I also need to figure out, okay, how many cards can I fit? I don't want to just put cards in flat rate boxes. For sale, I don't want to do, if we're trading Cubs for Rockies cards, back when I used to do trades, I was okay getting Cubs cards like that. But when I'm buying, if I buy a case of Bowman Draft, I don't want them to be shipped loosely in a flat rate box, even if they're packed tight. So when it comes to inventory, I want them to be double boxed. So basically it's going to be, I don't know, is this a 550 box? This might be like a 400 count box, but basically I'm going to have these boxes. I'm going to fill those up, fill a medium or large flat rate box. I've got to look at the new pricing on flat rates and do the math, because it's got to be worthwhile for both of us. It's got to be worthwhile for me to pick through, get the boxes, pack the boxes, and then do the video and show you, here's what you're getting in box 1. So it's going to be, I talked about this several months ago. I want to do a live sale. So that's going to be too much of a pain in the ass doing singles. So we're going to do bulk. So we're going to do quarter box inventory, because I have like 40 quarter boxes that I've been rotating through at various card shows. So it's going to be a mix. And maybe I'll just kind of quiz anybody. I'll just ask right now, and you can drop it in the chat or leave a comment if you're watching replay. Would you prefer a mix of new and old? And what I mean by old, basically it's going to be like at the oldest, late 70s, like 77, 78 tops baseball commons would be the oldest, all the way up to 2023 products. There's not going to be Acuna. There's not going to be Shohei Ohtani. There's not going to be Trout. There's not going to be any Cubs. So just, it's going to be, it's going to be stuff like Tony Perez, Allen and Ginter. So that's what we're going to do. And, it'll be fun. If nobody buys anything, that's okay. At least I tried, right? So we're going to do that. And then that way it gives you, I want to get a pricing structure to where it works for me, where I make a little bit of money and you are able to make some money. And it depends on what you're selling. If you're into low end sales in volume, this should be good for you. So we're going to do that, but I want to do a YouTube live so you can join and, okay, here's box number 1. It's not going to be an auction. We're just going to set a buy it now price. I'll work the details out. But I want to make it worthwhile so you can list it for $1.75 free shipping in your eBay store, and still be able to make some money without that cost of goods per card being super high. So we're going to do that. And then that way we can go live, and then, okay, box number 1, maybe we set, this is a current box. This is all 2022 and 2023. Maybe it's not even for resellers. Maybe you're just trying to build sets. Probably not going to be a good set builder box unless I do come across a stack of cards. But anyway, we'll go through. It's like, here's the modern box. Okay. And I'll just pull out some cards. I'm not going to go through every single card, because that's just a waste of time, but it'll give you, I'll pull out a few stacks. That'll give you an idea what's inside the box. and you can buy if you wish. So I'll do that with baseball, football, basketball, and I guess if anybody wants, I got enough hockey that I could probably do one hockey box. I could do a soccer box also. I think. Yes, I think I have at least a 4-row of modern soccer that I could do. So in baseball obviously is what I have the most of. So I guess if it's baseball, would you want a mix of late 70s all the way to 2023? Would you prefer all 2023? Would you prefer certain era? Maybe 80s only, maybe 2020s only. We'll go from there. So that's on the. I don't know when I'll get to that. Obviously, this week, no. Probably not next week either. But it is something I want to do. I want to finish my sorting of 2022 Bowman draft while I'm also shipping and listing and shipping. I'm down to I think 2.5 or 3 boxes left to sort of that. Hopefully, I'll have that finished by the end of the week into the weekend. So I want to do that. Where are we at? Ken says morning disappointment is waiting 2.5 hours for the morning show, only to realize it's the Boar Ball Hall of Fame talk. There you go. Boar Ball. Zach and Porter, what's going on? Harlan's in the house. Ken says, but seeing Biscuit on camera would make it better. Biscuit's she sleeps in. So Biscuit's still, she's really comfy, man. She did wake up at 2 a.m. And I forget my wife, and I forget this because I'm sleeping. Usually when my wife comes to bed, I'm sleeping. So my wife, we have a little doggy bowl of water. And so my wife gives Biscuit water before bed. And I'll wake up to Biscuit drinking an entire bowl of water. And so I forget that. So last night, Biscuit's stirring around at 2 a.m. I'm like, we're not going outside because I know you went potty before we went to bed 4 hours ago or how many ever hours ago it was. 5. So I'm like, oh, and all of a sudden, light bulb went up. I bet you're thirsty. So I went in, got her little doggy bowl, filled it up with water, drank most of the bowl, and then she's good. She curled up next to me, and she was out like a light. And now she's sleeping. She loves the bed. Loves the bed. Johnny M, what's up? Good morning. Do you ever get buyers sending you offers on the 99-cent free shipping listings? I do, but they're 99 cents. It's just buy this. I did recently. I had one because I just had some 99-cent. I've been adding some 99-cent listings here recently, and it's but I'll get best offers on, say, a $1.50 card, $1.50 free shipping. I'll get an offer for $1.50. It's okay, I'll accept this. But 99 cents, it's yeah, you just buy it outright. Maybe people are confused. I don't know. Troy, what's going on? Good morning. Corey, what's happening? Johnny M says shoveling snow is almost as good as changing your own oil. See, I do shovel my own driveway. Does that maybe that makes me half a man? Since I don't change my own oil, I'm not a tough guy, but I do shovel my own sidewalk. Zach says, you staring down the snowplow driver has about the same effect as LRS telling you what to sell. Zilch. That's true. Hey, but it worked. The snowplow driver may not have even seen me. But my driveway's clear and my neighbor's isn't. So I'll chalk that up to my stare down working. Donald Davis, good morning. Red Light says, hit the like button and go to the eBay store. Hey, thank you. 99centcards.com. I did add about 200 new football singles last night. Most of them are $1.75. Ryan Suckup, pink, numbered to $4.99. I got Troy Aikman. This one, I couldn't list this for $1. I had to list this for $2.50 because that's a cool card. Sometimes if I like a card, I price it higher because I'm like, oh, I don't want to sell that for $1.75, but I'll sell it for $2.50. That's it's just a different way of doing business. I did add quite a few Bo Jackson football cards, 89 Pro Set, 90 Score. Pro Set Platinum. This is always a cool card. These were like premium back when I was a kid. I added some Peytons. I don't let these go for $1.75 either. Love that card. 86 tops. I added the 87 tops. Walter Payton. These are all in my eBay store. I don't think they've sold yet. Added them last night. That's a sweet card. 86 tops, man. I just love 86 tops. So that's in there. What else? Jim Everett rookie card. I have these coming out of my ears. I like find a Jim Everett rookie card every time I go through a football box. I found a in-person autograph of Brent Fullwood. By the way, this is in my eBay store for $2.50 shipped. It is not authenticated, so don't want to get into chasing cardboard trouble, right? An early Phil, I think that's his second-year card, maybe his third-year card, Phil Simms. Here's a Walter Payton. I don't even know what this is. I think it's from the commemorative. Well, I know it's from the commemorative set because it says it on the back, but it's like it must be like the head card or whatever. Limited edition, only 16,726 sets made. So I put that in my eBay store. These are all in my eBay store, added last night. Let's see. Old Tony Dorsett card from 82 tops. These are some of the football. All of these are from the box I found randomly. They must have been in Goodwill box. Doug Flutie rookie. That's always been a favorite of mine. Bill Belichick rookie. So like a lot of nostalgia in here, man. Like so much fun stuff. So those are all, and that, geez, that's just half of, actually, that's only a quarter of what I listed last night. So those are in my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Link in the description. Buy 7 or more, you'll get 25% off. Merle says, notice he didn't tell us the story where he helped clear the end of his neighbor's driveway. I did not know. I don't even want to clear my own driveway. You think I'm going to go clear my neighbor's driveway? Let's see. Joe Webster, what's going on? Quick Card Dealer Pro question. Does CDP dump out CSV files that are properly formatted for eBay? Yes. Tried Carnazio when the CSV is generic and has to be altered to make it upload to eBay. So there's another check mark for Card Dealer Pro. So when you go in, let's share the screen. Here's the latest batch I did. So can you see it on the screen? Okay, there we go. So there's my batch 24O. So you go to export cards over here. So the CSVs are actually altered to eBay standards or Shopify. You can even list to Shopify. I've never used Shopify, but mine's just default to eBay. You export all your cards. I'm gonna export without review. eBay listing template. Download the eBay CSV, and it pops up. Download it. The only thing I do is I add my custom label SKU. So I did try that. Somebody told me how to do it within Card Dealer Pro. It's actually, for me, it was faster for me to just type it in the CS, because I export the CSV anyway and then upload it to eBay. So it's faster for me to just type in box 24 tab O, copy paste it, and then save the spreadsheet, upload it to eBay. So yes, everything is set to eBay standards on Card Dealer Pro. Shane says, sounds like your neighbor knows you have an eBay store. He's going to want a massive discount for shoveling. Merle says, maybe if you stare at someone, they will set up your extra. Hey, I'll go into the share and just, these tables aren't going to set up themselves. The force is strong. I think Zach's right. I don't think my stare down helped, but my driveway's clear, so maybe it did. Good morning, sports card ripping teacher. JG, what's going on? Have all the Pokemon set up outside. Oh, I'm sorry. You're in the parking lot today. Sports card ripping teacher says, time to use the clean cycle of the maker. Yes. I think that's exactly what my problem is. Or just buy the combo coffee maker pizza oven. Wait. Is this a thing? All right. This has me. Are you shitting me? Is there really a combo pizza oven coffee maker? Let's just type in coffee pizza. I'm going to be really disappointed if you're lying. All right. Tell me what it is, if it's real. If it's not real, it should be real. That would be amazing. I am gullible. So sports card ripping teacher might have caught me right there. Mr. Archer says he was with Peyton Manning, Todd Helton, quarterback at Tennessee. I played one game against Helton in high school baseball. Very cool. Orlando's in the house. What's going on? Shane says we do have the same trash schedule. I missed last recycling day, so I was really hoping it was, but hoping it wasn't. I don't want to take it all out there. Johnny says I had a guy buy 6 Cubs cards off me yesterday. I fear you may have competition for the Cubs title. I'm not concerned. Sports card ripping teacher says, Johnny, I don't lowball anyone on 99 cents, but my son will like cards on eBay that he is thinking of buying. Sometimes a seller will send a 10% off offer. I'm always embarrassed. Does a 10%? I don't think I've ever sold a 99 cent card on a 10% offer. Does that actually? Because I know if I do a coupon, if you buy 7 or more at regular price, 99 cents, I know you'll get 25% off. But when I'm sending offers, like I don't recall ever selling a 99 cent card on a 10% offer, because I will send out 10% offers. Mark says, good morning. All 3 well-deserved enshrinement. Spent my day off watching MLB Network while sorting 73 and 74 comments. Nothing better on a cold, rainy day. There you go. I did not watch MLB Network at all yesterday because I have YouTube TV. Boo. So I had Sports Center on when I learned of the 3 get in. James says, run an auction on your flat rate quarter cards. But I wouldn't. So if I did run an auction, it wouldn't be like 99 cents starting. It would be like $20. I don't know, whatever the number is. You wouldn't be getting a steal on it. So if I did run an auction on the on the flat rates, the starting bid would be high. Not high, but it would be basically the buy it now price. Sports card ripping teacher says, Homer Simpson, Plow King. What was Barney's? Oh, yeah. What was Barney's company? No, Barney was Plow King. Wasn't Homer was Mr. Plow. And I think Barney, say hello to the Plow King. And then Homer was Mr. Plow. That name again is Mr. Plow. Because he had that jingle, that commercial that ran at like 3 a.m. on TV. Flawed Thinker, good morning. Zach says his company was called Plow King. Homer was Mr. Plow. There you go. Let's see. Mikey would like new. Okay. So we'll definitely have a new box. Good morning, Brian. Been at a trade show the last few days. Good to be back. Welcome back. Where was your trade show? I think you told me the other night, but I can't remember. I can remember what I did, what I ate at school lunch in 2nd grade, but I can't remember what somebody told me 4 days ago. Ryan Sells, what's up? Good morning. Anyone local to OKC going to the Norman show this weekend? There's a lot of shows this weekend, which I'm surprised how much demand I'm getting for dealer tables at Madison this weekend. There's a small show up in like the Green Bay area. There's a show in, is it Eau Claire this weekend? I think Eau Claire. And is there another show in Minnesota, like in the Twin Cities? Oh, no. It's actually, there might be another show in the Twin Cities. It's also, I think, Twins Fest on Saturday. There's for the big shows, the Culture Collision down in Atlanta is this weekend. A lot of shows this weekend. Good morning, Kyle. Listening from the foggy roads of Iowa. We got foggy roads here in Wisconsin, too. But it is lifting. Oh, no, it's not. Still as foggy as it was 30 minutes ago. Mikey says, would there be any numbered stuff? Probably, well, maybe a couple. Like it's not going to be, it's going to be quarter stuff. It's not going to be like $5 cards. It's going to be like $2, $3 cards at max. So there may be some like commons that are serial numbered. There's probably going to be some colors and refractors, but likely no serial numbers. Let's see. It's gonna be basically what I list for $1.75 on eBay. That's this type of stuff that will be in these boxes. So we'll just do it. If nobody's interested, we won't do it again, and I'll just sell them locally in bulk. But maybe people will be interested. We'll see. Shane says, hey, Kyle, swing on by and I'll give you 50% off on an order through my eBay store. All you have to do is take out my recycling. I'll match that, but you have to set up tables at the Madison Card Show this Saturday. Zach says, YouTube and StreamYard need to create AI technology that the comment the presenter has on the screen gets highlighted in the chat. Do better, YouTube and StreamYard. The hobby community deserves better. It does highlight it on my screen, but I'm like in StreamYard. So James sold a Coco Gauff 10-card lot. Money. What'd you sell it for? I had some Coco Gauff cards in my quarter boxes that nobody bought. And then I pulled them as I was going through. I'm like, oh shit, Coco Gauff. I could probably sell these on eBay. Zach and Porter bought the Herschel Walker rookie in the bow, stars, and stripes from your store today. Thank you. All right. All right. Thank you, Zach. Andy Mack, good morning. I just talked to the guy who runs the main printing facility for Topps and Panini. I'm making a set of Chrome cards for the poster artist I work with. Very cool. Very cool. Was that, you probably can't say, but was it GC Packaging that you talked with? I think there's two printing. I think they use GC is the one that like Topps has like they didn't buy them, but they have like a partnership that money exchanged hands, like a strategic partnership, I think, with GC Packaging. That's the company that I called on when I worked in transportation. I had good conversation. Brian was my contact there. Had good conversations. He never gave me any business, but he didn't force his call to go to voicemail, which what 99% of your sales calls go to. So Brian Common Life Smith, maybe, I can't remember, but GC Packaging, good dude, never gave me business, still a good guy. What's up, Brian? Flipping Sports Guy says, always love hearing what's quicker for each person for the custom SKU. I thought it was so much quicker to click SKU type, then click fill on CDP, then do it in the CSV file. Isn't that interesting? Like some people swear by bulk label printing, and I've tried it like at least twice. I tried it 2 different times, and it was not faster for me. Based on my work, based on my, like the way my operation works. Because we all have different operations. It's like, there's no like, and we all think differently. We all, we all have like, well, this is how I can work more efficiently. I work more efficiently doing this than that. Now, sometimes there is, when I was stubborn, I don't need to organize my cards. At the time, I didn't. But then all of a sudden, as I went into business full time, it's like, okay, it wasn't about me. It was about the operation, and it was about scalability. And with my organization, is this scalable? Can I do 94 in how efficient is it? Because I was sorting, I would list 1,000 cards, and then on Saturday morning, I would spend like 3 hours sorting cards, putting them in year in 1994, 1995. And then many times I didn't know what freaking year they were. Because sometimes it says like 2001. Sometimes there's 2 different years on a card. It happened a lot in like basically the mid 90s to the early 2000s, like 95 to 2005. It's like, what the hell? And so I started thinking like, okay, this is not efficient in the grand scheme as I scale up. Nor, what if I hire somebody to do my shipping at some point in the future, and they don't know cards, and they have to like look like this is a 1991 Mark Vanderpool wild card, and so they have to go to the 91, and there may be 1,000 in that pile, and then it's by set wild card 19. Well, what is it? And so that's not efficient because they're like, okay, wild card, and then they're not as fast as, if you hire somebody that's not familiar with cards, they're not going to be as fast as you picking process. And it's got to be pretty box 24 tab in, and now they've got 80 cards. And if it's a 1990 Fleer, they have the photo. It's going to take them a step. They're still going to be a step slower, but at least it's 24 in is a lot easier than 1991 wild card. I got to find 91. I got to find wild card. So the keep it simple. Keep it simple. Porter, what's going on? Can't wait to head to STL tomorrow for Dave's Dollar Box Day. I get to geek out while flipping through 800,000 cards, fill in an 800 count box, and only pay $100. Ooh, that sounds fun. Joe says, thanks. Might be the straw that breaks the chrono back for me. Not interested in having to edit the spreadsheet and host images elsewhere as well. And that's another thing. I don't know where your images are stored using Chronazio, but Card Dealer Pro they store your images. So, and you get what you pay for. And I don't understand the pricing structure with Chronazio, but with Card Dealer Pro, say you want, what's the subscription rates? I don't know. Say whatever $100 a month is $5,000. I think it's $25,000 for $100. $25,000. You pay $100 per month. You upload 25,000 cards to eBay. Next month you pay $100 and you get another 25. I think it's 10,000. I can't remember what the number is, but whatever it is, there, because it's not connected to eBay. Sports card ripping teacher says it should be a good thing. I'm not saying there is not one, but let me make it. It should be a thing. I'm disappointed. I'm really good at fooling second graders, but this time of year, some are catching on. Oh yeah, they've had a full semester plus to catch on to your reindeer games. Flipping Sports Guy says, I thought 99 cent was the lowest eBay will allow on buy it nows, including off. So that might be. That might be, because I don't recall ever selling a 99-cent card after a 10% offer, but I will sell 99-cent cards in volume and they get the 25% off with the coupon. Let's see. Sports card ripping teacher says, I've gotten an offer on a 99-center. That is interesting. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if, and I could go and look, but unfortunately, right before I went live, I sent offers to all my watchers. So I usually do that right before I go live in the morning. Do I have any new watchers? Just 2. What the hell was that? Let's see. Good morning, Uncle Rich. Hey, it's been a while since we've had you in here live. I've got a couple people watching a Dak Prescott card. I wonder if it's anybody in here. Uncle Rich is here. Flipping Sports Guy says, interesting. Shane says, just think, waking up and starting your pot of coffee, and at the same time, it starts cooking a breakfast pizza, and they get done at the same time. We may see sports card ripping teacher on Shark Tank soon. Yes. Make it happen. Make it happen. Oh, imagine. Can you buy like frozen breakfast? I don't see frozen breakfast pizzas. As much time as I spend in the frozen pizza section, I don't ever recall seeing a frozen pizza. I'm not like in the mindset. Usually when I go grocery shopping, I'm like, breakfast is not like, I just, here's my breakfast burritos and some bagels. That's like my breakfast. Next time I go, and I'll probably go tonight because I'm running low on, although my wife would be proud. I'm going to have to text my wife and be like, you should be proud of me. I've been eating fairly well. Like, I've only ordered pizza once. It's because Brian came over. No, last night I made chicken and mashed potatoes. Now, I used the microwavable Costco mashed potatoes, but still, it's not frozen pizza. It's not delivery. It's not chicken wings from the bar. Pretty good. I've ate salad a couple times. I'm growing up. I'm growing. It only took me 41 and a half years, but I'm getting there. Ken would be interested in a hockey flat rate. Okay. All right. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Oh, bummer. Trade show was in the I was thinking like Vegas, Nashville, the Dell. So you didn't get out of here. Neil says watched a bunch of This Week in Baseball episodes with Mel Allen on Pluto. Oh, I love Pluto TV. Pluto TV. I bet Pluto TV is my most watched streaming app on TV, because I'll watch like during the day, like when I'm tired of watching Dateline reruns, I'll turn on Pluto Music, and usually there's something. It really annoys me though, because this has happened like 3 days in a row. I'll turn on like giant hits of the 90s, like the 90s channel has giant monster hits or whatever, and so I'm like, oh sweet, and I turn it on and it's fucking Celine Dion. Like, come on, Sarah McLachlan. I will remember. Like, no, these are supposed to be monster hits, not sleepy hits. I don't want to take a nap. But sometimes they have like butt rock. Now, they don't call it butt rock, but I know. I can read between the lines. In Puddle of Mud. I like the way she slaps me in the ass, or whatever that song. Puddle of Mud. What the hell song is that? It was popular when I was in college. I can't remember. But Pluto. Love Pluto TV. They have great cheesy movies. They have a Dateline channel. They have great music channels. They have a wrestling channel. It's like Impact Wrestling, so it's like, eh. So, Flawed Thinker says, not sure how I feel about the Nats picking up Joey Gallo. Oh, I didn't see that, and I didn't realize Joey Gallo was still a thing. Hey, Rhys Hoskins went to Milwaukee, and like some of my Cubs fan friends are torn, like love it, hate it. Now, I didn't want the Cubs to sign Rhys Hoskins because he's a liability at first base. You don't need a liability at first base. And what do you sign? A DH? And the Cubs have like option. Like, I mean, we still need to sign Cody Bellinger. I'm on the Cody Bellinger train now. But I didn't want him to go to Milwaukee because now he can be a Cub killer. He might suck at first base, but I don't want him to be a DH and crush home runs at Wrigley Field in a Brewers uniform. So we'll see how that all plays out. GC Packaging, very cool, very cool. Sports card ripping teacher says, I just liked 12 99-cent cards. I'll see if I get any offers. Maybe it was multiple cards from the same seller. Go to my store, 99centcards.com, and like mine. Let's see. Let's see if I have any new likes, any new watchers. Hey, speaking of likes, like my channel or like my video, hit subscribe. Sports card ripping teacher says, Shane, I wish I could do something like that. My only chance would be to duct tape the two machines together. Would anyone's wife like having that huge machine on the counter? No. I can assure you the answer is no. Unicorn Cupcake. When I was young, I had a sticker vending machine. Used to vend 50-cent to $1 cards out of it. That little machine was packed with quarters, about $40 to $60 a week. Granted, it was in a sports complex in 1996. Very cool. When I worked at the IGA, we had a sticker machine. It was around it wasn't 96. It would have been probably 98 or 99. Because I was in high school working at the IGA. We had the sticker machine, and it had, I think, one of the slots was, because I think they had like a sports slot. They had like a Barbie or whatever, My Little Pony, whatever the hell was popular with little girls at that time. And then like, I think there's a music one, which I wish I still had those stickers. I remember Queensryche, because we would, like, when I was working, especially when I closed the grocery store at night, you know, my friends would come hang out, and we called him Timmy Z, my friend Tim. I remember one time he buys one of the music stickers, and he gets Queensryche, and he looks at it and he goes, Queensryche? It's like, it's Queensryche, you dumbass. That was the one you didn't want, Queensryche. But they had like helmets. And we put a lot of, especially when my friends hung out, when I closed, like just pumping quarters in these sticker machines. Let's see. Where are we at? Shane says it would be pretty big, and I may be able to win the girlfriend over with it since it makes pizza. There you go. Jordan says, do you ever utilize auto offers on eBay? What do you mean by auto offers? So I will, I just like send, so when people like watch your item, you can send offers. So that's what I do. It's not, it is not, I don't have it automated, if that's what you mean. I don't have automated offers or anything. Although I have, and I've seen people like on the blowout forums talk about this where they never manually sent an offer out, but eBay did. This actually did happen to me with one of my dealers last month at the Madison Card Show. He was talking about, I don't know how we got talking, but he saw the Card Dealer Pro video on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, I have an eBay store and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, what's your eBay store? So I told him. And so I went upstairs. I came back down like at the end of the show. And he's like, hey, you sent me, hey, thanks for sending me an offer on this car. It was one of those 76 Fleer stickers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks. He's like, yeah, I was in your eBay store and I was interested in that sticker. So I watched it and you sent me an offer. And I'm like, I didn't send him an offer. But I've sent so many offers, like 10% offers on those cards, that eBay must have automated it for me. Shane says there are lots of breakfast pizzas. Well, now I'm going to have to be on the lookout. I don't think my Metro Market, formerly Pick and Save, formerly Cops, part of the Kroger umbrella, I don't think they have. Maybe they have like one in the freezer, but it's not like we should have a frozen breakfast pizza freezer, like a whole freezer dedicated to the breakfast pizzas. Maybe they just don't sell well. Now I'm going to be on the lookout today when I go to the grocery store. Johnny M says, just tried to send you an offer on a 99-cent card just to see if it would go through. eBay would not let me. Interesting. Said I must offer at least 99 cents. Did you send me an offer of 99 cents? That's interesting. Shane says, eating fairly well, coming from the guy who ate 2 boxes of stovetop stuffing. No, I have not eaten any boxes of stovetop stuffing in the last 2 weeks. I don't even remember when it's been a while. It's been about a month. I had 2 boxes of stovetop stuffing at one point in time, but I have not eaten 2 boxes of stovetop stuffing in the last at least month, probably. Yes, Pluto is free. Same with Tubi, Tubi, also another great app. I prefer Pluto, but Tubi has some good movies on there as well. Pluto, yes, free app on your smart TV, or you can get it on your phone too. Uncle Rich says, happy to be here and listen to Bo. I do listen at home sometimes, but until I figure out my YouTube ID again. Okay. I can't sign in to say hi. There's got to be a way to like send, I forgot my password, right? And Mark Marinello nailed the Hall of Fame prediction yesterday. He went 3 for 3. Joey Gallo is a terrible hitter, but a great fielder, but his OBP would be decent. He's actually a perfect Cubs player. Mark says, this week in baseball was must-watch TV during the summer of the 70s and 80s, morning pickup baseball games, going to our local candy store for cards, then lunch while watching This Week in Baseball. Flipping Sports Guys, happy for Todd Helton. Always enjoyed watching him, but 6th year on the ballot, not a Hall of Famer. I agree. You're in or out, which I want to talk about. We're going to get through the chat here in a moment. We're going to talk about next year's ballot. I like your hey Luli. I don't know what that means. Hall of Fame voting is like politics. Get some lobbyists and let them smooze, and you'll gradually head right up the ballot. Yeah, ask Harold Baines. He had just enough people in his camp on the Veterans Committee. Tony La Russa, Jerry Reinsdorf. Let's see. Mark says, even a blind squirrel finds a nut, Richie. Best breakfast pizza is the leftovers from the night before. Truth, yes. Brian says, Pluto has an entire channel dedicated to Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's the best. I no longer like Mystery Science Theater. I loved it when I was in my 20s. And then now I just can't get into it. I think it's because I don't have patience. I can't pay attention. I think that's why. Mel Allen was so great on Twib. Next year's Hall of Fame ballot. Who do you think's going to get in? Headline by Ichiro. So get those Ichiro cards. Start going through your bargain boxes because Ichiro is going to be a Hall of Famer next year. He's on the ballot. He's going to be no doubt a first ballot Hall of Famer. The question's going to be, and we touched on this yesterday, will Ichiro be unanimous? And I think there's at least one asshole voter that will not put Ichiro on his ballot next year. So I don't think Ichiro will be unanimous. How did Mariano Rivera become a unanimous Hall of Famer? I just don't understand that. Ichiro will not be unanimous, but he should be, and he will be a first ballot, no doubt about it. He'll be a 99. I mean, if Adrian Beltre, what did Adrian Beltre? I don't even know what the final results were. I'll have to go. Where's Mr. Tibbs at? I didn't see the final. He was tracking it like 90 through half the ballot. He was at like 99%. Where's here it is. 95%. Okay, so of the public, he was like 99% on the public ballot, so he dropped 4%. Todd Helton got in with 79.7%, and Joe Mauer 76.1%. Billy Wagner fell just short, exactly how I thought it would roll. Although I thought Helton would be, I thought Mauer would be a little. Let's just show you so you're not listening to me. Here's how I thought it was going to go down. I knew Adrian Beltre was going to be in. I thought when it was all said and done, Mauer would be at where Helton was. Mauer would be closer to 79%. Helton would be closer to 76%. I thought Helton would barely get in, but he would have enough to get in. And then Billy Wagner would fall short. And then obviously we knew Gary Sheffield was going to fall short. So that was how the votes went. 95% for Beltre, 70, almost 80% for Helton, 76% for Mauer, and Wagner fell short just under 74%. Now, next year's ballot. Let's take a look here. So next year's ballot. Let's stop that. Present. So this is 2025, which we won't actually see the ballot for another, 9 months? But this is what we're looking at for 2025. Billy Wagner will be on the ballot for his final time, and I think he gets in. I think he will gain enough momentum. He fell, I don't know how many votes, 1.2%. You can do the math. I don't know how many ballots were out there, but I think Billy Wagner will get enough. Might be 10, 15 votes he needs to get that 75%. I think he'll do it. I think he'll have enough to get in on the 10th ballot, which, like Flipping Sports Guy says, if you need 10 ballots, you're not a Hall of Famer. Andrew Jones will appear for the 8th time. Carlos Beltran, he was only on 57% this year. I think Carlos Beltran will get in. It might take 6, 7, 8 years, but I think Beltran will eventually get in. He was only at 57%. I think his numbers will continue going up year after year. Alex Rodriguez fell short of 35%. I don't think Alex Rodriguez is going to get in. He's a no doubt Hall of Famer. He should be there. Manny Ramirez will be on the 9th ballot. Manny's not going to get in. Chase Utley on his 2nd ballot, 28.8%. I think Chase Utley is the guy that will eventually get in. It might take 8, 9, 10 ballots, but I think Chase Utley will eventually be voted in. Omar Vizquel will appear on his 8th ballot. I don't think he's he was on track to make the Hall of Fame, but then those domestic violence accusations came out and crushed his Hall of Fame hopes. I don't think Vizquel will get in. Bobby Abreu will be on the 6th. Jimmy Rollins on his 4th. Andy Pettit, Mark Burley, Francisco Rodriguez, Torrey Hunter, David Wright, all were able to get more than 5% to stay on the ballot for another year. Now, our first ballots for next year. Ichiro, he'll be in. CC Sabathia, Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez, Troy Tulowitzki, Ben Zobrist, Curtis Granderson, Hanley Ramirez, some others. But I think there's a case for the top 5 there. Ichiro is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer next year. CC Sabathia, I don't know if he's going to be a first ballot. I think he's going to end up short. But I think he gets in year 2 or 3. Dustin Pedroia, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he eventually gets in. I think Dustin Pedroia, in my opinion, is going to go the similar route as Chase Utley. Utley's going to get in. Pedroia will get in. It might take 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez. These are guys. Now, I say this is not my own personal opinion on if they should be in. This is how I think the voting is going to go down. There's a big difference between who I think should be in the Hall of Fame and who will get into the Hall of Fame. This is just my opinion on how the voters will vote. Ichiro, first ballot. Sabathia, maybe a first ballot, but I think it's going to be more second year, third year for him. Pedroia will eventually get in. Ian Kinsler and Felix Hernandez. I think they both could eventually get in. I think Felix has a better case of getting in than Kinsler, but I think it may take all 10 years for either of them to get in. It was funny. I posted a poll or not a poll, but just a question on Twitter. A lot of people were saying Felix Hernandez could be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think so. But I think Felix Hernandez will eventually get in. Again, not my opinion, personal opinion, but that's my opinion how the voters think and will vote. All right, let's go to the chat real quick. Where we at? I agree. Where we at? Neil says Billy Wagner fell short by 5. Oh, okay. So Billy Wagner's a shoo-in, I think. I think he'll get 5, 6 votes next year. Possibly more. So I think Billy Wagner's in next year. Max is in the house. Good morning. Busy already picking up 2 cases of product before noon. Just getting back from a sale. Max, he's done more before 8 a.m. Than I'll do all day. Mark says, get your Ichiro cards ready. Looking forward to his speech. I agree with Uncle Rich. Ichiro should be unanimous. Ken says, I already have Ichiro lots on eBay. There you go. There you go. Somebody in the Hobby Evolution Facebook group was asking me about, they're like, you mentioned the guru of player lots. And I'm like, that's Ken. He turned me on to the small player lots. Uncle Rich says someone like Ichiro is not price affected by the Hall of Fame. That is true. Someone like Harold Baines, yes, he is. Yeah, I think Ichiro is going to sell regardless. There will be a bump. There will be more interest, but Ichiro is a player that's not going to be as affected. Todd Helton, Joe Mauer, Adrian Beltre. Those 3 players are definitely affected by the Hall of Fame bump. Ichiro, not so much. There's going to be little effect, but certainly not as much as the 3 that were elected last night. Mark says Beltre was 95.1%. Orlando says if Ichiro is not unanimous, no one is. I agree with that. Sal Dougie's in the house. Good morning. Brewers signed Rhys Hoskins. I'm okay with the Cubs not signing Rhys Hoskins. I mentioned this before you joined, but I'm not okay with the Brewers signing him because I think he could be a Cubs killer. Max says after this year's announcement of who got in, let's just let everybody in. Sammy, Mark, Pete, Roger, A-Rod, amen. Everybody. He'll put everybody's favorite guy to cry about, Dale Murphy. Dale Murphy should be in the Hall of Fame. Bobby Grich should be in the Hall of Fame. A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame. Clemens, Bonds, Sammy, McGuire, all should be in the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame should be based purely on statistics. I agree. A point system should be created. I personally feel that Ryan Zimmerman should be a Hall of Famer, but I know that he isn't based on his stats. There you go. I like that point of view. I like it. We have something similar, and there's nothing, because nobody's going to agree on a standardized rating on stats. WAR benefits long careers. We have the Jaws ranking, which is, not everybody, because you can nitpick, this and that and everything else. So I think, I just think it's so hard to get like a standardized system that people will say, yeah. Good morning, Stuke. What's happening? Mark agrees with Orlando. Ichiro dominated 3,000 hits and he was a rookie at age 20. Yeah. That's just think about that for a second. Just think about that. Ichiro wasn't a rookie until age 27. Unreal. Wagner missed by 5. If Mo is unanimous, Wags shouldn't last till his last ballot. 100%. I don't understand how Mariano Rivera was a unanimous Hall of Famer. Brian wants to know, are you being sponsored by Neutrogena? I don't know what Neutrogena is. What is Neutrogena? I think it's like is it a skincare product? John says, Utley not deserving. I don't think Utley's a Hall of Famer, but I think he gets in. A person's feelings should have no bearing on the Hall of Fame. I agree. Yep, Utley definitely not Phillies Wall of Fame, 100%, but not Hall of Fame. JG says, ridiculous Manny not in, and guys like Mauer, Beltre, Helton ease in. Or how about David Ortiz? I mean, if you want to bring up the performance, the PEDs, and you've got Bud Selig and David Ortiz in, double standard, anyone? Ichiro may go in alone. I think he may. I don't think he'll go in alone because I think Billy Wagner will get enough votes. Billy Wagner fell, as a couple people mentioned, 5 votes shy. He'll get those 5 votes next year. So I think at the very least 2 will be elected by the writers next year. Ichiro and Billy Wagner. I don't think Sabathia gets in on his first ballot, but he might. But I would put money on Ichiro and Billy Wagner for sure. Glad to see Torrey make the cut. 9 Gold Gloves, similar 162 average to Harold Baines. Cooperstown has been invaded by the Twins. Yeah. Because who do we? Tony Oliva, right? Tony Oliva, Mauer. Who else? There's been a few. GNC baseball cards. It's sad at how low. David Ortiz. It's sad at how low the standards have dropped to get into the Hall of Fame. It is, and that's why I think in my tweets last night, like we are a large. It's becoming Cooperstown is becoming a large hall. It used to be a small hall. It's now becoming a large hall, and I don't know if it's just the voters are different now. I think the voters have a lot to do with it, and I think the bar is getting lower. The Hall of Fame bar is lower and lower, and I know I hate using it as a reference, but it just has to be Harold Baines. I mean, you start looking at Harold. Well, Harold Baines is in. Scott Rowland is in. Well, this guy should get in, and it's a race to the bottom. Now you take a look at all the players that have appeared in Major League Baseball and look at the Hall of Fame. It's still a pretty elite company. But yes, the standards do seem to be dropping. And I think part of it is just the way the voters vote. And it's some of the accommodation of that in, well, this guy's in, so this guy should be in. SoCal guy says Todd Helton's first ballot was 16.5%. I guess he got a lot better by year 6. Anything is possible. Isn't that amazing? So let's just take a look at 16%. Can I access this? How fast can I get to this data? Let's see. Let's take a look. This is last year's ballot. I just want to take a look at okay. So first ballot, actual final. First ballot. I just want to look at other first ballots this year to see if there's anybody similar that was around 16%. So Chase Utley. So Todd Helton was, what did somebody say? Todd Helton was 16.5% on his first ballot. Chase Utley, his first ballot, 28.8%. Let's go to who was on first ballot last year. Carlos Beltran last year, 46.5%. What? That's about the same as this year. Where was Beltran this year? Oh, 57%. So he gained a lot of ground. So Beltran last year on his first ballot, 46.5%. Who else were first timers that had some votes? Francisco Rodriguez was 10.8%. Let's go back to 2022. We'll just do the, I'm going to scroll all the way up. Okay. First balloters. First ballot. A-Rod on his first ballot was 34.3%, but he's not gaining much ground. So 34.3 was A-Rod, and he was at 34.8. So, man, he has not gained much ground at all. Like 2 votes, maybe. I think CC is a lock. One of only 3 left-handers with 3,000 strikeouts and 250 wins. Others are Big Unit and Steve Carlton. John says Bobby Grich, higher WAR than Utley, if that's your thing. And if you look at Jaws, Bobby Grich is higher. I think Bobby Grich ranks 8th among second basemen on the Jaws Hall of Fame ranking. There's actually, I think, 3 or 4 second basemen not in the Hall of Fame that are ahead of Pedroia and Utley. Grich is one of them. Lou Whitaker is another. Cano, who's not eligible for the Hall of Fame yet. And I thought there was one other. Porter says, I was the one who asked about player lot guidance. There you go. It's Ken, Bean's Ball Card Blog. So if you have any questions, he, I think, is still in the chat. Max says, Rich, everybody is price affected. You vastly overestimate the human brain and the squirrel mentality. That's true. Smaller effect, but definitely an effect because of the bird brains. That is true. There's definitely an effect. It's much smaller than Mauer, Helton, Beltre, but there is an effect. Lou Whitaker, higher WAR than Utley, if that's your thing. And yeah, Lou Whitaker's another guy that's higher in the Jaws. But these guys, Grich and Whitaker, much different. You know, when they were on the ballot, it was much different voting. The standards were higher when Whitaker and Grich were on the ballot. Standards are lower. And so it's if Whitaker and Grich could go on the ballot based on the baseball writers now, I think they would be in. But they're not. And they're not. So they've got to hope for the Veterans Committee. Max says, no, Murphy is the first or second guy out. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with setting, there has to be a line. Like there has to be a line of, is it line of demarcation? There has to be a line. There's got to be guys that are just in, and there's got to be guys that are just out. And, you know, if you start moving that line, which I think the Hall of Fame has in the past few years, you dilute the field. Veterans Committee will let the PED guys in later. I do agree. I think eventually a lot of the guys that should be in the Hall of Fame will get in. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. I mean, you look at Sammy Sosa. By the way, Sammy Sosa is coming to the Chicago Sports Spectacular in March. And damn it, I wasn't planning on, well, I'm not going, but I wasn't planning on going to the March Spectacular. I'll be at spring training anyway. But if I wasn't at spring training, I would be going to the Chicago Sports Spectacular. It's his first ever public autograph signing in Chicago. Sammy Sosa. I think Darren Rovell tweeted, like, is there going to be demand? Is there going to be demand? It's going to sell out in 60 seconds. It's going to be crazy. The prices are going to be high, and it's going to sell out in no time. And he's signing both days, Saturday, or 2 of the 3 days at the show, Saturday and Sunday. I'll be in Mesa, Arizona. My buddy Crawley texted me last night. And he's like, hey, are you going to change your spring training plans with this Sammy Sosa news? And I'm like, no. Would I go and try to get, Sosa if I was here and didn't have other things going on? Absolutely. But I'm not altering spring training to go see Sammy Sosa. And it's also the same weekend. So that Friday is the first prospects game. The White Sox and Cubs play at Sloan Park. So I was looking at tickets are cheap, like $15. I could have got 7th row, I think, behind home plate. for $15, but I'm stubborn and I want first row. So I'm going to hold out and then wait till a first row ticket comes up on StubHub and pay $75. So, but I just want to be front row. I've sat, there's a couple different seats that I've sat in the front row. One year it was like $30 that I got it. One year it was like 60 or 70. Well, I think the one year that it was 60 or 70 was also the first game that Joe Madden managed against the Cubs. When his first year with the Angels. And that was an ESPN game. I'm like, I've got to be in the front row for this one. Let's see. John says football doesn't go by war. Basketball doesn't go by war. Polka Hall of Fame doesn't go by war. But I don't even know. Like I couldn't talk 30 seconds about the Football Hall of Fame or the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like I don't care. But I love baseball and I love the Baseball Hall of Fame. So but football does have a metric. It's not as there's analytics in football. There's actually front office executives that have analytic positions in football. There's advanced stats in basketball. There are analytics in every sport. It's just not, you don't hear it as much as you hear about war in baseball, but there's absolutely analytics in football and basketball. Polka, I can't talk about, but football, basketball, I can tell you there is. I guess Wagner's postseason record hurts him a bit. His regular season stats are historic, 11 strikeouts per 9 and a 187 career average against. Billy, yeah, I think Billy Wagner should be in. There's your Twins Hall of Famers. Oliva, Cat Mauer, Arias, Jimmy Kitty Cat. Helping clear your neighbor's driveway must just be a Minnesota thing. Yeah, that's Minnesota. That's what we call Minnesota nice. You don't hear anybody say Wisconsin nice, do you? My neighbors don't. Maybe it's, I actually, my old neighborhood, we would clear each other's sidewalk. I never did driveways. I have a little puny snowblower, so like I can barely get through my driveway. Shane says, I feel like the Hall of Fame is becoming kind of a joke in a lot of sports. I agree, 100%. Jack Morris, Burt Blyleven. It was never a small hall if you look at the players that were inducted over the decades. Maybe that's just the feeling I get. But I haven't looked at the numbers. So have you seen some of the players getting into the Football Hall of Fame? Good grief. Stop complaining about the Baseball Hall of Fame. No, because I don't pay attention to the Football Hall of Fame. I have no idea what's going on. I just know Devin Hester is not in the Football Hall of Fame, and he should be. John says there are a few dozen Harold Baineses in the hall. Speaking of PEDs, what are your thoughts on them in baseball? Do they give you more power? I'm sure, but you still have to hit a ball spot on. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think it's not as much of the power. It's more of the recovery. It's not performance. It's not in-game performance enhancing. I think it's more off the field recovery from fatigue and 162 game season where you can just power through it. It's like coffee. Coffee's a power performance enhancer. Caffeine. It's like caffeine in the office. It's legal. Should be legal in baseball. Just let everybody do it. Uncle Rich says the Frankie Frisch inducted New York Giants of the 20s and 30s were also not really Hall of Famers. Tinker Evers Chance is pure proof of a large hall. What's the other? Dave Bancroft. Yeah, Uncle Rich says Dave Bancroft. Then there are the Cardinals pre-war guys. It seems like, and I don't know the history on some of these, but weren't veterans committees voting in some of these guys? Some of the, especially if you take a look at the Jaws, and like all of a sudden you'll scroll down, it's like there's a lot of like, but also the eras. Like I'm not, I haven't done a deep dive into statistics on the 1920s or the 19 teens or the 1890s to know, okay, because you can't compare a guy that played in the early 1900s to Barry Bonds or Joe Mauer or Ichiro. There's some other guys that Rich mentions. It was a problem with the vets, and it's a problem now. Orlando says it's a good old boys Hall of Fame voters. Many pre-war players have better numbers. Hall of Fame is only 0.0168% of all MLB players. That's pretty elite, even with Baines. P.S. Dale Murphy should be in. I agree. Dale Murphy should be in. Porter says, I smile and nod when my wife talks about the right year to take our son to Disney World, while in my head, I'm doing the same for Cooperstown. He'll be 10 in 2028, which will be Pujols' first ballot. Bargain Boxers in the house. I'm more interested in the YouTube Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, I am not interested in the YouTube Hall of Fame. Porter, taking your son to Cooperstown is more important than Disney. Yeah, I've never been to Cooperstown. I do need to make that trek. Orlando loves Sammy. Low Roller says you can always go to spring training next year. Sammy Sosa is a once. No, it's not. Sammy, there's going to be other times to meet Sammy. So spring training only comes once a year. Sammy Sosa making appearances will become pretty common, I think. I think he'll be making more and more appearances. Sammy Soda. I might see Sammy Sosa again. Sammy was so much fun to watch, but he was so skinny when he started. He was. Corky Sosa. Neil says, did you hear the Bucks 30-13 fired their head coach and hired Doc Rivers? I did. I don't follow basketball. I'm like, when I saw the news that they fired their head coach, and I'm like, aren't they good? Like 30-13? Yeah. I don't know what, I don't follow it. So I don't know why that happened. Shane says, I don't care what people say about PEDs. The home run race was one of the most amazing things to happen in sports. Agree. Even people who didn't watch baseball were interested and followed. And it brought me back. Like it was, well, there were a couple things that brought me back into baseball in 1998, but that was a big reason why I fell in love. I re-fell in love with baseball. Shane wishes we could have another. Let's see. John says, Cat, dude, act like a baseball fan. Jim Kitty Cat. Jim Kitty Cat. Jim and Steve's has private signings with Sosa. His autos bring good money. I saw they did a private signing recently, I think. Just a couple months ago. PEDs help you recover for the game the next day. There you go. Let's see. I agree on the recovery. Most of us have been given steroids. Players that bulked up still had to put the work in, and then you need to adapt your bulk with the new coordination. Absolutely. You can certainly compare Tinker, Evers, Chance. Come on, Tinkers. Come on. Act like a real baseball fan, John. To Sherry McGee. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing Sherry McGee wrong. And you spelled Sherry wrong. Let's see. Shane says to Neil, yes, and it is. And is it wrong to hope that it bites them in the ass and barely make the playoffs? Stuke says Griffey was in the 1998 home run chase until the end of August. Didn't have the recovery capability of Sosa and McGuire. Some players have different genetics. Spring training for a week versus 60 seconds or less meeting Sosa. Yes, bring on the Arizona Heat. GNC baseball cards remembers as a child in 1966 seeing the Cubs spring training at Blair Field in Long Beach. Nice. Imagine Mickey Mantle on PED quick injury recovery. Mark says, I have to make a trip to Cooperstown. It's a life changer for a baseball fan. Luckily, I'm only a 3.5-hour drive to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's one of those where I've never been to New York. I've never been to Boston. I think what's the furthest I've been that way? Probably Pittsburgh. I've never been to Philly. I've never been to DC. It's like the Southeast has been to Georgia and Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky. Talking Tatsy says, my uncle took me to the most. Jim Cat starts in Philly as he loved his quick work. No pitch clock needed for Jim Cat. Jim Cat. Sosa looks like he's been cast in a Golden Girls reboot. He looks much better. They put out a video of Sammy yesterday. He doesn't look like he used to look. And what I mean by that is there was like the cowboy photo and looked like he had a lot of makeup on. But he doesn't look like he did 10 years ago or whenever that was. All right. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit up my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more at regular price, and you'll get 25% off. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central. Again on Friday for the free-for-all and Name That Player. Saturday, no Hobby Evolution. Come out and see me at the Madison Card Show. It's going to be jam-packed. I apologize in advance. I overbooked, and I'm going to have to cram tables in every nook and cranny I can. So it's going to be jam-packed at the Madison Card Show this Saturday. Again, apologies in advance. It's my fault for overbooking. So we'll review the show on Sunday morning. By the way, I am not setting up Saturday. Not setting up. Sunday morning, we'll review the Madison Card Show. So with that, I'm out. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.